If you want to continue to follow our adventure, click subscribe. So you don't miss anything, click the bell notification. Hello, Last on the Road subscribers and followers. Well, anybody who was following us last winter and fall knows that Carolyn's daughter had cancer, and we took care of her for several months, taking her back and forth to the hospital to get chemotherapy. The news isn't good. The cancer's come back. So we're back in Missouri, as a lot of you know. I mean, the last few videos I've said we were in Missouri. We're just trying to take care of her and get some business taken care of. And so we're going to be in Missouri for a while, of course. And what we're going to do is we're going to bounce around from her place to National Forest. We're not going to stay at her place full time. Before everybody says we ought to just move in with her and stay inside her house, because that's what we got a lot last year, and I just wasn't going to answer the question. And this year I'm a little bit more comfortable on YouTube. So here's the deal. She lives in a duplex, basically a 2-bedroom apartment. It has 4 people in it, very small. They smoke, which is okay. That's their right. They can smoke if they want. They also drink. Carolyn and I don't drink, which is okay. It's their place. They can drink if they want. So, and they also work night shift, and Carolyn and I are day people. It just didn't work out that we were going to be able to move in with them. So that means we stay in the camper. There is no driveway or parking lot that we can stay in at the duplex. That means we have to stay parked on the road. So what our plan, as I just said, was we were going to stay there 2 or 3 days and then go off to a conservation area or to the National Forest or whatever and stay there for 2 weeks and then come back and see her again and just back and forth. So I decided I better look up the rules and regulations and the laws and city ordinances of the town she lives in to make sure that we're not in violation of anything. There is no law in the town that she lives in that says you cannot sleep in your vehicle. There's no law. There's no law that says you can't sleep in your camper or anything. Now, there is a law that says you cannot park campers on the street. And it defines campers. It talks about RVs and travel trailers, those kind of campers. But it does not spell out vehicle. Well, I was really, scratching my head. Does our camper, our homemade truck camper that sits on the back of our pickup truck, qualify as a camper? Well, I did find out. And I'll get into that in a minute. There was no law saying you couldn't sleep in your car. We were there the first day, and the guy in the other duplex, he was a young guy too, was very upset that our car was parked on the road. He says, "This is my effing house, and I'm not going to have you parked here." And so I said, "Sir, please bear with me. Our daughter has cancer, and we're just here visiting, and we'll leave and come back and leave." Well, he says, "You don't have to explain it to me." Okay, so we were there 2 or 3 days, and the police, of course, knock on our door one morning, about 10 o'clock, and I was working on the computer. Carolyn was playing on the iPad, and he says, "So what you guys doing here?" And we explained it. Said, "Our daughter has cancer, and we're here visiting." He says, "Well, I don't think you can live in your car." And so, first of all, I said, "We're just visiting, we're traveling, we're not living here. We have an address." And he says, "I know you have an address. It's a Missouri address." I said, "We've been traveling the country for a year, but we do have a physical address that we can go home to." And he says, "Well, I just don't think you can live in your car." He kept using the word live in your car, not sleep in your car. Live in your car is what he kept saying. And of course, I was saying technically we're not. Carolyn says, "Well, we have paperwork that proves that we're visiting our daughter. She's got cancer. It's in the house. You want to come into the house with us?" So we all walk into the house, and he is very suspicious that we're going to knock on the door and we're going to try to explain ourselves. Well, I don't. I just open the door and I tell Carolyn's daughter, "The police are here. They want to talk to us, and they want to make sure that you live here." Well, the police officer stops right at the door, and he says, "Oh, okay." I think that was all the proof he needed. But here's what got really interesting. He says, "I need to go look at the city ordinance to make sure that there is a law that says you can't live in your car." See, here's what I was going to do. I knew there was no law that we couldn't sleep in our car. So I figured if he was going to tell us to leave, I was going to say, well, there isn't a law. Or if he gave us a ticket, I would have just fought it in court. But it kept coming back to, are we in violation of the no RV on city streets? And I wasn't sure of that answer. So if he'd have given us a ticket and said, okay, you're an RV, you can't park on city streets, that might have been a tougher argument. Of course, I do think I would have went to court to see if I am actually classified as a pickup truck, which is what my license plate says, and they don't have a license plate that says I can't put a camper on the back of the truck. I'm not trying to be picky. I'm just explaining to you that if you fall into this situation and you're parked in a city street with your Class C, there may be a law that says you can't do that. So he says he was going to go check, and if he didn't see any violations, he wasn't going to come back. Well, he never came back. So I'm guessing he did not classify, since he had my license plate number and he knew it was registered as a pickup truck, and there's no way to register it any other way, that he saw my vehicle as a truck, not a camper. Before you start parking on city streets, people who are maybe even vacationing, who park on a city street to go do something, or stay at a friend's house or a family member's house. And that's what we're doing. I mean, if you really think about it, we were at a family member's house visiting for 2 or 3 days. Even if we'd have just been sleeping in the house, let's just assume we were sleeping in the house. A Class C vehicle or trailer would have still been in violation of this city ordinance. So you need to check before you just park on a city street. Well, anyway, what we decided to do was, instead of just staying the night in the street, even though we weren't in violation, we did not want to upset the neighbors. So what we did was we went down to boat docks in the town. There's 2 boat docks, and we were just swapping back and forth each night on the boat dock. One boat dock one night and the other boat dock the next night, just to keep the town people from being upset for us being there. This is what I've been saying a lot, is that a lot of cities, towns are shutting down sleeping in your vehicle because people are abusing it. You know, they're pulling out the barbecue pits and brushing their teeth out on the street and all those things. Try to be discreet a little bit. Same thing with the Walmart parking lot. People pull out their camping gear, have a barbecue, start drinking, their alcoholic beverages right there. They unhook their campers and go driving around. That's not what it was designed for. It was just to, stay overnight. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Click like if you like the video, and happy travels.